Oh boy, here we go. I guess I'm here to, kill any chances I have of a video making career before it really begins. But I really do think Last of Us Part 2 is getting way too much hate. I'm not saying all of it's unjustifiable. The game's made very oddly, to put it lightly. But I think it's just misunderstood. Hence the clickbaity title, I guess. And when I say misunderstood, I'm going to mostly be talking about the ending. I know there's a lot of debate and hate for Abby as a character and what she did to Joel and all that, but I'm not really going to, cover that in too much detail today. I don't want this to be an overall analysis. I just want to kind of speak my mind about the ending. I did honestly really love the game. I don't think it's as good as the first one. I want to think it's as good as the first one. Maybe over time, people will look back on it more fondly. You know, there's a lot of controversial titles that have come out in the past, like Metal Gear Solid 2, for an example. I mean, that's another game where they do a character swap that everybody hated. But over time, over the course of many years, it became a classic. Maybe Last of Us 2 will be something like that. I hope it will be. I don't know. I loved the game. I think it's a good game. Hell, I even think it's a great game. Is it a masterpiece? I don't know if I'd go that far. I think one of the qualifiers for a title to be a masterpiece is just simply time. And I don't think we're going to know for sure where it stands right now, especially with all this rampant hatred flowing online. There doesn't seem to be a lot of actually objective design talk. For the most part, it's just the story's garbage, gameplay good. And I don't agree with that. The gameplay is great. I think the story is great, but has some faults. Maybe not great, maybe just good. I think it's worth playing for sure. I don't think it's nearly as bad as people give it flack for. The biggest critique of the narrative is that it's just a revenge story. And it's not even a very well-told revenge story. Everyone just saying, oh, revenge bad. The game's constantly shoehorning in your face. When I played through the game, and I played through it for the first couple hours on hard, then I bumped it up to Survivor, or some difficulty options on Survivor, some on hard. When I finished it, I never got the impression it was a revenge story. Hell, even about halfway through when I switched to Abby, I never really got the impression it was a John Wick style-esque action story. I think the people playing cared much more about Joel than Ellie ever did, which sounds kind of dumb, but I'm going to explain and go into details about that in a minute. But I feel people connected with Joel very easily in the first game. The first game is all about love. It's about Joel and Ellie's relationship. They connected with Joel, this gruff old man who had his daughter taken away from the world, and developed a bond with Ellie. So when the controversial ending of the first game happened, where Joel slaughtered the hospital and rescued Ellie, quote-unquote rescued, most people seemed to sympathize with that and go, I would do the same thing for someone I loved. Or, they said, hey, that's not right, he damned the whole world, but for the most part, it's justifiable, he is human. That's what made it so good. We see that, the players see it that way, but the person we're playing as, Ellie, she did not see it that way. I wasn't fully sold on Last of Us 2 until the ending, funny enough. So when I came out into the world of the internet to see what everyone thought of the game, I was pretty shocked, honestly. Everyone hated it so much. And it wasn't that actually it is because Ellie spared Abby I liked it so much. It wasn't that fight. It wasn't the hour through Santa Barbara, which it is my favorite part of the game, honestly. It is the only part of the game that really solidified how bad the violence has gotten and how uncomfortable it was. Ellie went to a slave camp to kill a slave. And anything that got in her way was killed no matter what. That's pretty fucked up. I was uncomfortable for that part, but I digress. It's a very good section of the game. The final cutscene after the Santa Barbara part, the flashback of Joel and Ellie sitting on the porch. Ellie yells at Joel that Joel took her purpose in life, that her life would have fucking mattered if she died in the hospital. That's the line that solidified me loving the game. Because that right there showed how much Ellie disliked herself and how much it affected her to have her purpose ripped from her. Which is why in the very last part, or the last cutscene of Last of Us is so impactful. With Joel lying to Ellie. And Ellie explicitly says, I don't think I can ever forgive you, but I want to try. And that's great. That's all fine, but really, that's the last thing they say in person to each other, because after that cutscene, it's shown that the narrative of 2 begins. That's when Ellie wakes up to go on the perimeter search with Dina. That's how Last of Us 2 starts. So the very last cutscene is right before the game starts. The last thing Ellie says to Joel is she wants to try to forgive him. So when Abby killed Joel, Ellie was still mad at him. Of course she was devastated her father figure's dead, right? Anybody would be, but Ellie was so mad at him for so long. You can see in the flashbacks how uncaring she is. At the museum there is good bonding there. Just showing that she still sees him as a father, but everything after that, as she grows, especially at the flashback at the hospital, where she freaks out on him because she finds out the truth. Her purpose in life was ripped from her. So with Abby killing Joel, her new purpose becomes to avenge Joel, to forgive Joel. The way to forgive Joel would be to avenge him, because she never had the chance to really make that bond and forgive him in person. So going back to the last fight on the beach with Ellie and Abby, and Ellie spares her. Because Ellie first gets a flashback that Joel's dead on the ground, and that's when Ellie's like, alright, time to man the fuck up, let's throw down on the beach, right? And that's when they fight. She gets that flashback of him playing guitar on the balcony, of Ellie saying, you've taken my purpose in life, it would have mattered if you didn't do what you did. I can't forgive you, but I want to try. She remembers that. Now, why would she remember she wants to try to forgive Joel right before she can avenge him? She has the opportunity to avenge Joel's death. And by that is that vengeance not a way to signal that she forgives him? Really, if she truly wanted to forgive Joel, wouldn't she have killed Abby without a second thought? But she doesn't. And that's why at least I found it to be really profound. It's because she doesn't kill Abby. And if she truly forgave Joel, I'm pretty sure she would have killed her without a second thought. So isn't the fact that Ellie let Abby go, she let her be free and just stopped caring about it, doesn't that show Ellie never forgave Joel? And then we see the final flashback of her coming to the house, and she's unable to play guitar. The one piece of humanity Joel left to her, she can no longer do. So she just leaves the guitar there, and symbolically leaving, I guess, Joel behind, and walks away from everything. I don't think Ellie forgave Joel. If the first game is about love, if the very first game is about Joel loving Ellie, I feel like the second game is about Ellie hating Joel. So the entire community hating on the game for how Joel died, and hating how Joel was treated. The character we're playing as, the character we love so much, everyone else is also complaining we switched to Abby. What the fuck, I want to play as Ellie, that's who I really like. I finished the game not liking Ellie anymore. For that reason. And that's why I never really saw it as a revenge story. It's a story of trying to find forgiveness and failing. That's why I think it's so good. Or at least the ending section of it. The end of the story, I believe, is fantastic. The way it is told, we can talk about all day. All the flashbacks, switching protagonists, it seems to be very out of order. But I wanted to make this, hopefully quick video to kind of just talk about why I think everyone needs to chill out about the ending. Because everywhere I see is comparisons from other revenge stories, like Red Dead, like God of War, like John Wick, and that's fine. On the surface, Last of Us 2 does seem like a revenge story, but deep down, I don't think it is. I really don't. When I think of stories like Red Dead and God of War and John Wick again, Last of Us 2 doesn't try to nearly hit those same beats. It really doesn't. Last of Us 2 is violent as hell, yeah, and that's how the revenge is kind of conveyed, is violence from all the characters and all the murders and whatnot. But at the end of the day, I really think it was more of a story about forgiveness and Ellie's choice to not forgive. And that's why I think it's so powerful. This is kind of just a quick video. I wanted to throw my thoughts out there. I want to do a deeper look into the game down the road. Maybe when I have more time to process it, play through it again. I really liked the Santa Barbara segment, and I really liked the entire island part. And I kind of want to cover those at some point, but we'll see. This is just, you know, I want to get my thoughts out there, throw a little bit more positivity from someone who did enjoy the game. I do recognize its shortcomings. Honestly, the sex scene does seem pretty out of place. Joel dying probably could have been handled better. But overall, I did very much enjoy it. I really did. And I think it's getting a little too much hate. Maybe destroy this, dislike the video, dox me, destroy everything if you disagree so much. But I just really did want to send a little bit of love out there for the game about hate, I guess, which is kind of ironic. I don't know, small ramble. Thank you guys, and take care once again.